Static crackled across every screen on Earth at the same moment. Phones, billboards, smart fridges, even the ancient Jumbotron in Times Square that no one had bothered to fix since 2038. The same face filled them all. 8 eyes arranged like a crown of black opals, skin the color of molten gold, a mouth that didn't move when it spoke. The translation came in perfect, bored English. Terrans, you have been weighed, you are found wanting. Kneel, and we will be merciful. Refuse, and soul goes dark in 30 hours. The feed cut to black. Then the countdown began, burned into the sky itself. 29, 59, 59. 29, 59, 58. Governments screamed, stock markets hemorrhaged, churches filled, bars emptied, and bunkers that hadn't been touched since the Cold War suddenly had waiting lists. But in a forgotten hangar outside Tucson, a woman named Captain Reyna Valdez was already laughing. She stood on the wing of a matte black interceptor that had no business existing, angular, scarab-sleek, its hull drinking the floodlights like spilled ink. Around her, 39 other pilots, ghosts, legends, washouts, and court-martialed geniuses were strapping into ships that officially didn't exist. The Midnight Armada, the fleet the Pentagon denied, the CIA funded with black budgets, and the world had never been told about because no one thought we'd ever need them. Reyna thumbed the all-hands channel. Listen up, you beautiful disasters. The Seraphim Dominion just handed us the one thing they never should have, a deadline. She grinned, teeth bright against skin dusted with old burn scars. 30 hours till they turn our star into a cinder. That's 29 hours and 59 minutes longer than we need. The hangar doors peeled open like the jaws of some ancient beast. Moonlight poured in, silver on black. One by one, the interceptors rose on silent gravitics, no flames, no thunder, just the low, hungry engines that ran on physics the galaxy hadn't outlawed yet. Out in orbit, the Seraphim Armada was already folding space into formation. 1,000 cathedral-sized dreadnoughts shaped like golden thorns, their prows aimed at Sol like a firing squad. They expected pleas. They expected surrender. They had conquered 400 worlds and never once been refused. They had never met humanity on a schedule. Reyna's voice cut across the open fleet channel the Seraphim were arrogantly monitoring. Midnight Armada, this is Reaper 1. Rules of engagement are simple. If it's gold and arrogant, make it bleed light. The first interceptor vanished, not cloaked, not jumped, just gone. A heartbeat later, it reappeared inside the Seraphim shield perimeter, rail lances screaming, gold and hull plating flash vaporized into auroras. Before the Dominion could retarget, the ship was gone again, leaving only a molten scar and a very confused battle AI. Then the rest of the Armada hid. 40 shadows against 1,000 suns. They danced between lance beams that could split moons, slipped through shield grids like smoke through fingers, and struck with weapons that turned the laws of thermodynamics into polite suggestions. Every kill was a work of art. A dreadnought bisected along its long axis, reactors flaring like brief, angry stars. Another spun end over end, its gravity keel shattered, crew experiencing their first and last taste of freefall inside their own corridors. On Earth, people stopped hiding. They climbed rooftops, stood in fields, watched the sky burn gold and black. Phones rose like a forest of tiny mirrors. Someone started chanting USA, USA, and it spread until 6 billion voices shook the planet harder than any orbital strike. On board the Seraphim flagship, Crown Regent Valorius watched his perfect formation unravel. His 8 eyes widened, pupils contracting to pinpricks. These are not primitives. They are artists. They are painting with our blood, his tactician whispered. Valorius slammed a jeweled fist against the command throne. Then give me their names. I want the one who leads this madness. The interceptors obliged. Across every surviving Seraphim hull, words began to appear, seared into the golden armor in letters 10 kilometers tall. Reaper Squadron, send their regards. Reyna's laughter echoed across the open channel again as her interceptor dove straight down the throat of the flagship's primary lance battery. At the last second, she rolled, kissed the beam with her shields, and came out the other side trailing plasma like a comet's tail. "Regent Vicky," she called, voice bright with southern heat and pure spite. "You wanted us on our knees? Honey, the only thing kneeling tonight is your empire." The countdown in Earth sky froze at 00003. Then it started counting up. 00004. The Seraphim fleet tried to run. Space folded around them, but the Midnight Armada had spent 15 years learning how to break folding space like a redneck breaks a bronco. Exit vectors collapsed. Wormholes spat dreadnoughts back into real space, missing wings, missing minds, missing the arrogance that had carried them across the galaxy. By the time Sol rose again over the Pacific, the sky was littered with golden wreckage burning up an atmosphere like the world's most expensive fireworks. Reyna's interceptor limped into low orbit, one wing gone, cockpit cracked, blood on her teeth from where the G-forces had bitten her. She looked down at the blue marble turning beneath her and thumbed the open channel one last time. "This is Reaper 1 to anyone still listening up there. Tell your kings, your gods, your eight-eyed overlords the same thing." She paused, spat blood, and grinned at the stars. "Earth doesn't kneel. We bite." Behind her, the remaining 37 interceptors formed up in perfect chevron, black on black, engines glowing soft midnight blue. The war had just started, and out past Pluto, something ancient stirred in the dark between stars, listening to the echoes of 40 human heartbeats that had just announced humanity's arrival with fire and middle fingers. It smiled with far too many teeth and began to move. The last Seraphim dreadnought died above the Atlantic, splitting open like a golden egg. From its broken heart spilled a sun. For one impossible second, the sky turned noon at midnight. Every ocean caught fire with reflected light. Every city glowed without power, and 6 billion human souls looked up at once and understood. We had won the first round. Then the newborn star dimmed, folded in on itself, and became a single black interceptor hanging alone above the curve of Earth. Reaper 1. Reyna Valdez opened the canopy by hand, stood on the cracked fuselage, and let the wind rip her hair loose. Blood streaked her face like war paint, but her grin could have cowed cowards. She raised one fist to the sky that no longer belonged to anyone else. The cheer that answered her started in Hawaii, rolled across the Pacific, leapt time zones, and swallowed the planet whole. It was louder than the Seraphim ever were, louder than fear. It was the sound of a species that had just remembered it was born with teeth.
Far beyond the heliopause, the ancient thing that had been watching finally spoke. Its voice was gravity and hunger and the memory of dead galaxies. "So the children have learned to bite," it whispered, amused. "Good." Reyna felt the words in her bones, looked straight into the dark no telescope had ever charted, and answered for all of us. "Bring it, old monster. We're just getting started." She saluted the void with 2 fingers, spun on her heel, and dove her broken ship toward home. Behind her, the Midnight Armada followed, 37 black arrows against the dawn, while Earth lit every light it had and sang its defiance to the listening stars. Humanity didn't just survive the night. We turned it into legend. And out there, something older than light smiled wider, eager for the next verse. The galaxy had ordered us to kneel. We taught it how to bleed, and we are still rising.